Hey, we're going to start all over because we were muted like a couple fancy boys
all
here.
right.
We are live from Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
Welcome in.
Wild Horse Pass. It's your PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. That's a good reminder for everybody. We're going to take two here on PHNX Cardinals, like the Cardinals hope to take two on their 2024 NFL season. Bo, Brack, Johnny, Venerable, Damon, Dawg. We are locked in and ready to go. Are the Cardinals locked in after last week's embarrassment against Washington, Bo?
Well, they're going to have to be. They're taking on a 49ers team that seems to get a little bit healthier, right? They've got two key players that are actually going to be available to them, active, and Fred Warner and George Kittle, and that makes the task a little bit tougher. And we knew this. Like, if you didn't beat Washington, this is what's going to be in front of you, and the road was going to get tougher and rockier as far as trying to get back on track as a one-win team. Now you've got the daunting effort of trying to go on the road in division and take on a Super Bowl contending team in the San Francisco 49ers, basically at full strength. It becomes so tough for Jonathan Gannon to get his team on track right now.
Upsets happen every week in the NFL, and maybe it's the Arizona Cardinals' turn. I mean, that's what you got to hope for today. Like,
yeah.
Personnel be damned. I think the Cardinals have enough firepower. We're going to talk about it offensively. They are at full strength, minus Jonah Williams at right tackle. Defensively, you're holding on for dear life. That's where we start things here on pre-flight. Let's take a look at those aforementioned inactives. The two that stand out top of the list, Bo, you tweeted it out. Matt Prater, kicker extraordinaire, who's been phenomenal, hasn't missed a place kick this year. He is inactive, as is the standout second-year corner out of Syracuse, Garrett Williams.
Yeah.
So two massive blows already for the Arizona Cardinals against San Fran.
Yeah, where's the trust going to be in the practice squad elevated Chad Ryland,
Yikes.
who was 16 for 25 last year for the Patriots?
Oh, my God.
They sent him packing, and he was looking for work, and that's what you're going to find when you need a place kicker at this time in the season. So, just lack of confidence in the kicking game. Like, say you're marching down at the end of the first half and you want to put points up before going into the locker room. Where do you have to get the football as far as in the 49ers part of the field? That's going to be questionable because you knew where it was with Prater. You don't necessarily know where it is with Ryland. And then especially with this dynamic kickoff, Johnny, what does Ryland provide? Is he going to be able to just, like, if things get a little hairy as far as, kick coverage, is he going to be able to boot it deep in the end zone and take that out of the equation? Or are you going to have to cover in that part of the special teams in that phase of the game that we don't know about Chad Ryland? I know it's silly to kind of break down the kickers. I hate it, but that's where we are with Matt Prater being out.
Yeah, I hate a lot about this season thus far. You saw it on the graphic. Xavier Thomas and Victor Dumakaji, both inactive. What do the Cardinals plan to do to fix their alien pass rush? We shall see. You know what? In a weird way, and hopefully this doesn't come back to bite your boy, I don't really care about Matt Prater missing today's game because here's what I care about. Okay. Score touchdowns if you're the Arizona Cardinals. Guess what you're not going to do against San Francisco to beat them? Kick field goals. Like, yeah, place kicking's important, and I hope this dude, whomever he is, Dirt McGirt, he kicks his extra points. Like, make your extra points.
Chad Ryland.
Yeah. Go out there and make your extra points and have a nice kickoff here or there.
Come on, Chad.
We should not expect Chad Ryland to help the Cardinals kicking field goals. The Cardinals need to help themselves with the return of Trey McBride and company by scoring touchdowns. If anybody thinks the Arizona Cardinals, with or without Matt Prater, are winning this game with a bunch of 3 spots on the board, hey, Drew Petzing, I'm talking to you. They are not. They want to win this game. They got to punch it in the end zone. Dare I say, they got to go for 2 at times.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. So it's almost like you're removing the temptation for JG and Drew Petzing to want to kick field goals. Right. I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I don't hate that.
I think that there was a false confidence in your defense and your ability to play field position and play conservatively.
Yeah.
You got to take that out, and certainly his 1-3 start does that. But I agree with you on the offensive side of things. If you want to avoid being big brothered in the front yard as far as playing hoops against big brother, little brother, Arizona Cardinals, like if they go into this game and they lose this game, and then people are saying, well, what do you expect? It's the 49ers. You don't beat the 49ers, it's the Arizona Cardinals, and that's who you are. And if you want to change the narrative, if you want to start to change the narrative, and I know the road, as I outlined, it became tougher after losing to Washington, and especially in the fashion that you did. But if you want to just be like, hey, we're not just, hey, we drafted the guys, we're going to develop them, and then it's going to be a long road to relevance. If you want to change that, you have to do that with your performance today. And the way you do that is you have to lean on your strength, and that's the offensive side of the football. That's the only thing that's going to give you the ability to keep up with San Francisco in this game, and the kind of the side of the football that's been absent the last 2 weeks. And that's Kyler Murray. That's this offense. They have to come out, and I think you got to see at least 2 to 3 scores, maybe 2 touchdowns in the first half to even make yourself, keep yourself in the game going into the locker room.
This pregame brought to you by our friends here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Come out. We've got a custom menu. It is fantastic. We've got nachos. We've got wings en route. We've got everybody enjoying the vibes. Will they enjoy the vibes when the game starts? This is on par, if not superior, to many 5-star casinos in Vegas. And again, I get here this morning, early in the morning, and you can just tell the vibes are immaculate. People are having a banner time, right?
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about a staycation here in Arizona, if you're like, me and my wife, me and my spouse want to go out for an evening, look no further than Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass.
It's gorgeous. It's clean. They've got 4 different locations all across the valley. You got Vicuiva. You've got just down the road from here. Check it all out, because they're going to take your legendary status to the next level. Let them show you what the next level is all about. Check out playGila.com for more details for our friends to learn more about Gila River, or just come down here and hang out with us. We got great giveaways. We got a custom menu that you're going to enjoy. I already had some mango habanero wings.
Oh, they're tremendous.
They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Johnny, you want some wings? And I gave them one, and then they were gone.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's talk about our friends over at Sanderson Ford again, because I messed up on the sound.
Hey, no problem. Hey, we're dealing with a lot of adversity early on in this Cardinals season, and you know what's going to help you is getting out to Sanderson Ford in their Glendale location, Bo.
Yeah.
Like, I have not historically been a truck guy.
You're not. You'll never be.
Well, the folks at Sanderson Ford beg to differ. They told me, Johnny, you want to be a truck guy, we can get you a truck. How about a Ford Bronco Spirit, 5.9%, 2024, APR for 66 months. Again, they're a presenting sponsor. They're phenomenal. It's got to be financed through the Ford Motor Credit OAC. Again, help us celebrate.
You're an Escort guy.
I am. Well, listen, I'm an everybody guy.
Maybe a Bronco guy.
Hispanic Heritage Month with Dia de los Muertos, inspired by Trunk or Treat at Sanderson Ford. See dealership for details. We've got so much good stuff going on. Can the Cardinals give us joy in our life? We will find out. Let's get to the Birdgang Blitz here on a football NFL Sunday. By the way, hit that like. There's Marv, one of the bright spots to this Cardinals season. We're going to talk about Marv here in a second, but a accompanied piece of this offense, Trey McBride returns today after an absence. Now, he did pop up on the injury report with a rib. I'm told it's not serious. He will play, just precautionary.
When the hell did he hurt his rib?
I've heard it happened in between Friday night and Saturday morning.
So sleeping?
I don't know. Listen, I sleep on my neck the wrong way. I can barely move the next day, but I'm an old 36-year-old man. Trey is in the peak of his powers. McBride or die. I am McBriding or dying today. I'm a full decked-out McBridesmaid. You can't see me from the waist down. I have my gown on underneath.
Your gown?
Yeah,
like my sleep gown?
No, my McBridesmaid.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. You're 90.
Yeah.
I mean, look, was there a little gamesmanship going on between Kyle Shanahan and Jonathan Gannon?
I think so.
With Warner and Kittle and McBride in the middle of the field. Well, your guys might not play. Well, my guy might not play.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right, now all 3 are active and ready to go, and now it's just going to be like, can Kyler Murray and Trey McBride find some open space, make some plays in this passing attack with Fred Warner out there?
Yeah.
And can Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rollis' defense slow down a guy like George Kittle, who came back, got injured again last week, but still found the end zone for Brock Purdy, can still be effective even when he's not 100%. So it's going to be some strength for strength there. Arizona Cardinals, they're just going to have to find a way to be better, to combat that. And it's not easy.
It's not easy. Listen, I'm taking slings and arrows in the chat. Edward saying Johnny's 36. He looks older.
No.
Wow, how dare you.
Man.
This is all I have in my looks right now. I don't have the Cardinals winning games. I in all seriousness, I think Trey McBride gets his today. If you're the Arizona Cardinals and you're on the verge of falling to 1-4 and you're disappointing your fan base week after week, just like we talked about earlier with Prater. If this team loses today, so be it. I don't want to sit here on this post-game show from Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass and talk about, Trey McBride had 4 targets and Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't see looks
Enough
in the
of
sack.
that.
I love Amara DiMercato, et cetera. Get your playmakers the ball. Force them the football. I'm watching teams like Cincinnati overcome Baltimore. Why? Because they're getting Jamar Chase the football. DJ Moore in Chicago getting the football. The Cardinals, stop me if you heard this before, are lacking on high-end talent and depth. So the good players that they do have, those are the kind of players like Cliff Kingsbury is succeeding right now.
Don't say that name.
And once upon a time, Cliff Kingsbury went into Santa Clara and upset San Francisco off a Super Bowl runner-up loss.
I remember that.
What happened in that game? He said, F it, Kyler Murray, go to D-Hop as much as you can. That's the kind of vintage performance we need from K1. And speaking of Kyler Murray, how about some leg work with Kyler Murray? Egregious last week, 3 yards rushing. This week, I guarantee Kyler Murray gets up and running. It's going to be a point of emphasis. Drew Petzing was drilled about it this week, as was Jonathan Gannon in the media pressers. And I think we're going to see Design One's opening drive for Kyler
Murray.
Murray.
It's the same excuses you're hearing for the lack of looking towards your playmakers, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you just have to do it and force the issue. It's great that we see some budding playmakers as a part of this offense, and it's great that you want to, at some point, rely upon just strictly Kyler Murray's arm. But what makes him so valuable is his ability to get out and run. When you take that out of the equation, it makes things easier on the defense. Don't do that this week. And when you talk about Trey McBride and the Niners defense has been good this season against the tight end, it doesn't matter. You have to get McBride going.
Yep.
Same thing that goes as far as dual threat quarterbacks. They haven't necessarily been able to get going against the 49ers defense. That doesn't matter. You have a dual threat guy. Your offense is predicated on him being a dual threat. You have to get that going in order to be successful. You can't just say, well, they take it away, so we're just going to look a different way to expose this defense. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, whammy. You took away the run. I guess we'll try to continue to run the football. No, sometimes you have to be one-dimensional. Here's the deal. San Francisco, while they have Fred Warner in the fold, their defense is not what it once was. You can run on them, and Kyler Murray is a threat with his legs. The Arizona Cardinals, they can't afford to worry about, is Kyler going to hold up over 17 games? I'm sorry. That's not going to matter if you're not winning games. You need to win today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Empty the bag of tricks, and that begins and ends with Kyler Murray. And how about, speaking of running, on the opposite side of the football, running out of options is Nick Rallis, specifically stopping the run. Running out of options for a defense that's given up 5 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 weeks alone, over 400 yards. They faced Jordan Mason and San Francisco's top running efforts. Mason already halfway to the century point in lieu of Christian McCaffrey being out. And again, McCaffrey, what he did to this team last year was borderline criminal. The Arizona Cardinals with Dante Stills and L.J. Collier and Bilal Nichols, at some point you just got to say enough's enough. I know pass rush is a skill set, and the Niners have a good offensive line. Have some pride today.
Right.
Show up and get ugly in the line of scrimmage at the trenches, because you were exposed last week. And here's what I will say. The Cardinals defense in their best 2 games this year, Detroit and against LA, what was the common denominator? They had immobile QBs that they faced for the most part. Where did they get exposed grossly? Buffalo with Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels last week. Purdy is probably somewhere in between that mix of the 2 batches you've seen. You ought to be able to take some chances, sell out for the run, and don't let this team run wild on you. And listen, if their playmakers make plays in the passing game, so be it. I can't watch another week of soft run defense from this team.
Yeah, you just have to somehow get that rushing total down. It's just imperative.
Yeah.
It puts your defense so behind when it's second and third and manageable. You can't get off the field. You have to create negative plays on first down. And Jordan Mason, it's a nice story for San Francisco and around the league that he's able to fill in as well as he has for Christian McCaffrey. But the fact that it's not McCaffrey, you have to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You can't be like the previous couple teams to do that. And we know that, when you as good as Brock Purdy, he's probably underrated, maybe overrated, just depending on who you talk to as far as extending plays. He does a good job. But he does put the ball in harm's way. When that happens, and it will, it's inevitable today, you got to take advantage. No Garrett Williams. If a corner, if a linebacker, if somebody is in an opportune spot to pick off a Brock Purdy pass, it has to happen.
Brock Purdy with 75 yards rushing this year. So he averages, like 15 rushing yards per game. He's got 5 touchdowns to 2 picks. Kyler Murray with
but
a
he
6.
extends plays to throw.
He does. He absolutely does. And he's almost leading the league in passing yards, and he's having a good year. He's having a better year than a lot of people last year thought with his faux MVP candidacy. So it just.
But if you put the game on the arm of Brock Purdy, I think that is it's still going to be tight.
That's the recipe, though.
That's the recipe, no doubt about it.
You got to get your hands on some footballs. This is a game where you need Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker really to step up. We're stepping up with our friends at Bet365. I love our parlay bets this week. Bet365, the presenting sponsor. Pregame picks. Download the Bet365 app. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why it's never ordinary, even for a moment. With Bet365, you got to be 21 years and older, physically located in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, they want help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov for more information. Listen, I've been horrendous on hold or folding the line, but we're not here to talk about that, thankfully. That segment
I'd love to talk about that.
That segment's since been canceled. How about these pregame picks?
It is going to be regularly scheduled at Wednesday. Don't you fear.
Player props, all plus money if you're nasty. Kyler Murray over 1.5 passing TDs at plus 120. And then a little bit McBride or die, as we mentioned, plus 222. James Conner, I really love this one. 12.5 receiving yards, plus 100. Again, we thought there might be an opportunity for Michael Carter Jr. to be elevated. He has not been. I think this is a James Conner game. I think this is a Kyler Murray game. What do you think about our bets today with Bet365?
I like these. I mean, Trey McBride, anytime tutty, that you like that. Last time he played against San Francisco, 10 catches for over 100 yards.
Yep.
Can he get going? Can he continue to get going? The Kyler Murray over 1.5, he's going to have to buck a couple trends the last couple weeks. Going to have to play beyond the first drive in order to do that. And then James Conner, like this seems like the easiest one. I think you can easily say, hey, there's one of 3 there.
Yeah.
I also saw a super boost on Bet365 today. It's Kyler Murray over 200 yards passing and Kyler Murray over 25 yards rushing.
Ooh, I love that.
You can get that over plus 200 yards. I mean, it seems like a simple one.
That feels pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Super boost, baby.
Damon, Dawg, speaking of feeling good, any super chats
We
to
do
read?
have one. Reezy Baby, $2 says, let's effing gut these guys. Time to show up.
Come on, JG. We need you. Thank you, Reezy, baby.
That legendary moment happened before the Niners and the Eagles.
If only Jonathan Gannon had the Eagles players to dispose today instead of what the Arizona Cardinals are trotting out. If only Hassan Reddick had his Superman cape on and flew to the desert. It is a borderline crime. It's football malpractice that Hassan Reddick is watching football from his house and not playing football for the Cardinals today.
He wasn't in London at playing for the Jets?
No, he was.
Just continues to hemorrhage money and fines.
We need Hassan Reddick, but will the Arizona Cardinals even make a point?
Give me a reason to say, hey, go out and get a move for Reddick.
Right, that's
a win would do that.
Well, that's exactly what I think we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube, become a diehard, pick up this MHJT. The season is on the brink, but MHJ is as advertised. He leads the NFL with 4 receiving touchdowns, and you can shop the number 18 collection right now. Become a diehard. Read Craig Morgan's work. We're going to hear from Craig Morgan. He is in Santa Clara at the game. He's going to be on our post-game show. We're going to get sights and sounds from what we hope maybe could be a Cardinals dub, Bo.
Needs to be, right?
Yeah.
And you put yourself in this position, but if you want to start to kind of change the narrative and not just be this team that's in year 2 of a rebuild, it may be a little bit ahead of schedule. You have to surprise with some wins over teams that you're not expected to beat. Now, that's the position you've put yourself in. Either get back to the status quo as a team that's year 2 rebuild, or you're like, hey, this team could be on to something. Kyler Murray, when he plays like we hope he does today, puts you in a position to win any game. We got to see that again. Final
thoughts here. Damon, I'm going to start with you. We've watched a lot of Cardinal football this year, and they've teased us at times with moments of brilliance against Buffalo in the first half and certainly against the LA Rams. What do the Arizona Cardinals need to do today to be successful?
I think stop the run. I think they got to neutralize Jordan Mason, who looks really good in that role over Christian McCaffrey right now. And personally, I think that's not really very viable and not super realistic. But I think if they have any chance of winning this game, they're going to have to kind of neutralize Jordan Mason in particular.
I don't disagree with that. I think it's a mindset. And if I'm Jonathan Gannon Andrew Petzing and Nick Rawlis, empty the clip today. Get all your bags of tricks out on both sides of the ball. Blitz Brock Purdy heavy. If you try to rush 3 or 4 against this Trent Williams offensive line, you will get burned. It's death by 1,000 cuts. I don't want to see that. If the Niners get big plays because of it, so be it. And you know what? Your defense is well rested because it's 1 or 2 play scores. Let the offense go out and do their thing. I don't want to see 10 to 12 play drives from San Francisco. Whether or not the Cardinals win or lose, we're going to talk about that on the halftime and postgame show. But if we sit here and it's methodical by Purdy and the Cardinals are the same old, I mean, Cardinal fans are going to be upset, even more so than they are now. Show some fight. Show up for your fan base.
Show some progress.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want to see at this point. And the offense, like, as much as you need to slow down the defense, the way you can stay in this game is putting up points on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
13 and 14 points respectively. That's not getting it done. It's not going to get it done today. They have to be undeniable. Kyler Murray and this crew, like, I'm starting to see across the league, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels already before that. Offense is starting to find their stride.
Yep.
It's imperative that Kyler Murray and this offense find their stride because now you're out of excuses. It's week 5.
You have the weapons. San Francisco's D-line is injury enabled. They're missing D tackles. They're missing edge rushers. No excuses for you not to join us on the halftime show at Gila River. Get down here. Join us. We got a plate full of food behind us. We're having a great time. Hopefully the Cardinals make it a fun afternoon, but regardless, like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Halftime, post-game show from Gila River. Bo, Johnny, Damon, we'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.